All right, you guys, we are back and we're live. Welcome back to our weekly live feed. We always give it a couple of minutes for you guys to get logged on. And while we're waiting, if you're logging on Instagram, we are also live on Facebook and on YouTube. And we'll be screen sharing, I was gonna say screen sharing on YouTube and Facebook. So it's a better experience versus Instagram. Instagram, we just can't screen share. So be showing some of the video from the live stream from the Arnold UK. They don't have photos, at least not that I've seen. I looked on the regular sites, like I looked on NPC News Online, I looked on Muscle Insider, I looked on all the places they normally have normally have stage shots, but I haven't seen them. So if anybody knows if they've got them out, type in the comments. If they're screen, why do I keep saying screen? What is wrong with me? I've got an issue tonight. Oh, I didn't plug in my mic. Hold on. I just realized I have my phone plugged in. I'll plug my phone in or plug my mic in. I'm all over the place today. What is going on with me? All right. That should be better. You hear me better? My computer mic is okay, but this mic is much better. I had my phone plugged in for the charger. What's up? So we always give it about 3 minutes for people to get logged on. Like I said, if you're on Instagram, we'll be screen sharing over on YouTube and Facebook. So feel free to jump on over there. It's better. If you don't know how to get there, jump onto my link tree here on Instagram, and it's in the drop down. So I feel like knowing some of my real-time prejudging and finals thoughts echoed yours. I didn't see yours beforehand. This is why I love these lives. Yeah. I really enjoy doing that. I wish more shows had like free live streams because I think we'd get a lot more engagement. I know I can do them myself because I always buy the live streams if I'm not there in person, but I know a lot of you guys don't. So, it's a lot more fun when we have everybody on. We had a good number of people actually on the live stream that we did here, the reactionary live stream, which I was impressed with because it was so early. It was so early here. I was like, am I really getting up at 5 a.m. in order to do this live stream right now? I did it. So before we get into all of that, a free newsletter right here. That's what the QR code is right there. So if you want to scan that QR code, all you got to do is type in your email address, and that puts you onto our newsletter list. So you get all the updates of when we're going live, when we're doing our podcast, when we're at shows, all those kinds of things, all of the things you need to know to be in the know, all go right here. It's free. So just email address and you're good to go. Make sure that you whitelist our emails so they go into your inbox, and then that way you won't miss anything either. Also, before we get going on to this too, I think I still have this up here too. No, I don't. I was going to show the QR code for suit consultations. I don't have it. I thought I had it saved. I don't have my QR code for the free suit consultations, but if you need a suit and you don't know where to start, I do free suit consultations. So you can reach out to me. I'll get you the link, all of that fun stuff, get you set up so that we can talk through your suit situation as well. Okay. So now that we got the business portion out of the way, let's talk about the Arnold. So like I said, if anybody's on here right now and has seen actual stage pictures, please let me know and I will look at them. We'll do it live here. And I just haven't found them. So they're not on NPC News Online. I don't know who actually took screen, or I keep saying screen. I don't know who actually took stage shots, but I do have the video, which I think is awesome. So guys, for anybody that's out there listening that is maybe has, pull the shows or something like that, I loved having the free live stream. Like, I get it. I understand it's expensive to put on a live stream. I understand that because I do it for my own event, and I know it's expensive, especially when it's a quality live stream. It is expensive to put on, so I understand that, and not everybody can do it. But live streams are so great. For those of you that weren't here, I got up early on Saturday morning and I did commentary here. Just like I'm talking to you guys, I had the live going in another screen. And I just talked about what I saw, just like I do when I'm actually at these shows, which, by the way, you guys, the next one that I will be at will be the Charlotte Cup, the Charlotte Pro. So I won't be there for Saturday prejudging because I think that's like female bodybuilding and figure and things like that. But I'm going down on Saturday, and I will be covering the show. I talked to Johnny Stewart, who is the promoter there, so we'll be able to cover the show here for you guys for commentary, just like I do for the big shows. This is a pretty big show. It's a 2-day show, so they have all the female divisions. So starting on Sunday, I will be doing all the commentary for all of the female divisions on Sunday. We've got a few of our ladies competing. Inez, our wellness pro, is making her pro debut. We've got a few other pros in bikini that are competing. So I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I decided to do this last minute just because I have the weekend to be able to go down there, and we have enough girls in it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try and get some interviews and things like that too. So put that on your calendar. It's Charlotte Pro, Charlotte Cup. It's April 6th and 7th. So that's coming up in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So when we had the Arnold going, they had the free live stream. Type into the comments here, did you guys watch the live stream? I know a lot of you guys were not here live with me, but the other cool thing about it that I really loved that they did is that as soon as the live was over, the replay went right up, like immediately went right up. So if you went right in, you could rewatch it right then and there. That was fantastic because I had a lot of women throughout the day that went back and watched the live stream with my live commentary replay and typed in and commented in on the YouTube. That particular YouTube video got a lot of engagement because y'all went back and watched. And I had so many girls commented and were like, yeah, I'm watching with your commentary. I'm watching the live from the UK with your commentary. So it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. I really loved seeing all those comments come in. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed it too. I loved that we did have quite a few people on actually with me live because that was fun. We got to actually chat back and forth about what was going on. So it's almost like we were all at the show together, even though we weren't. So yeah, live stream was awesome. It was really cool. So, and they did a really good job with the production. You watched it with me at 5 a.m. Yeah, I love it. I was surprised. I really didn't think we were going to have very many people on live with me, but we had a good number of people on live. I was like, all right, this is cool. So I got to drink my coffee and have my breakfast and have a live stream, little chat together, right? So it was cool. It was fun. So the great thing about it is that you're able to go back and watch it right after the show was done. The quality of the live stream, the actual lighting was very, very different from prejudging to finals. So like I had a few conversations with people during the day and like after the show was over that they saw the show going differently at finals than they did at prejudging. And that was mainly because of the lighting. The lighting was a lot harder at prejudging, and it was a lot softer at finals. Like it was prettier lighting at finals. But one of the things that happened with the lighting at finals is it made Vanya, who won it made Vanya look like she didn't have as much pop in her physique as she had that morning. So when you look at I'm gonna pull up the videos. You're gonna see it here live. When you look at the videos from prejudging, Vanya had the most pop in her muscle bellies of everyone on that stage. Like that's why I said from the second she walked out on stage, I was like, she's got this. I mean, just because she was full and round, she had that pop. Nobody else had it, just her. And then at finals, I didn't see that. So it could have been either that she flattened out throughout the day, or it could have been that it was just the lighting. And I'm pretty sure it was the lighting because nobody really had a lot of pop at finals. So that tells me that it was really just the lighting and the lighting changes and lighting differences. But I will say that I felt like when I watched finals, it gave Tara more of an edge than it did Vanya. So this is why, like I tell people all the time, whenever I do these commentaries and I'm not there in person, this is why I use that caveat, because the lighting was so different from one show to the next. So it's very, very hard to judge a show when you're not actually there in person live seeing what's happening. And that's why when I go to these shows, I try to get directly behind the head judge every time I'm there, because it's so different. It's so different, even just sitting a few feet back. And you got to understand the judges have a different view than anybody else, right? So again, whenever I review these shows or whenever I'm not actually physically there, I always use that caveat of this is what I see from the live stream, but it could be completely different in person, right? It could be completely different in person. Yeah, I was like, so, and this is the other thing too, is about the TV being jacked up during prejudging. So the other thing too is if you didn't realize it while you're watching the live stream, it had several different resolutions too. So like when I first had it playing, it was on the lowest resolution. I was like, this is kind of shitty. I was like, so I went in and I was like, oh, I can bump up the resolution, and it got so much better. But it was still very, very different. It was very hard lighting. Everybody looked really conditioned. right? It wasn't until they got out there and got next to each other that I was like, oh, like the one girl that placed last was Alice, and she was the least conditioned of all the girls on the stage. And it wasn't until she was standing next to everybody that I was like, oh, she actually is a lot softer. When she was by herself, she didn't look bad because everybody looked hard. Everybody looked hard at prejudging, but nobody looked super hard at finals because of the lighting. It's completely different. So anyways, I'm going to pull up the prejudging to start, and we're going to kind of walk through it a little bit. And I'm going to show you what I saw. And then we're going to show you what we saw at finals and the differences and why I felt like it was a lot closer at finals than what I saw actually at prejudging. Am I curious? I want to know what the judges actually saw. I'm wondering if they saw what their vision was a little bit closer to prejudging, or if it was a little bit closer to finals as far as the lighting was concerned, and what we saw in the live. So let me get my screen up here and share it. Let me find the right one first of all. I think this is it. This is prejudging right here. Yeah. Okay, so before I play it, I'm going to get rid of the chat overlay so that you guys can see more of this. I think, there we go. Wonderful. Awesome. I figured out how to make it bigger. Look at me. I'm learning. Now I don't know where I put the freaking screen. I'm like, I opened it, now I don't know where I put it. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, we got it. Okay, so here we go. So this is when they came out for their initial comparisons. So I'm going to pause it real quick before they turn. We've got Lucia right here, Vanya, Nade, we've got Angelica, Tatiana, Ellie, and Phoebe. Okay, so looking at this lineup and looking at their front poses and everything like that, the biggest thing, and again, we got to look at, it's not going to let me talk while it's sitting here. So we got to look at conditioning, right? So you can see that Lucia is quite hard. You can see that Angelica is quite hard. Tatiana's really hard, right? Let's go into the back pose here. Again, Lucia is hard. Look at the pop on Vanya on the top of her glutes. Nobody else has that. Nobody else has that pop. Look at her glutes. It's going to fade me out in a second, but look at her glutes on the top here versus everybody else's. Nobody else has that. Not one single person has that on the stage. Just her, right? Let's play it. Let them go through it again. And to me, when I look at this too, I'm seeing, Phoebe looks a little bit stringy. Adley looks pretty full. Tatiana's very conditioned. Look at her legs here. From the front, Angelica's very conditioned. Nade is a little soft. To me, this conditioning is perfect on Vanya. Now, Lucia's moving already, but she was hard. We talked about that in that first initial call. So we're going to watch them and let them go off stage real quick. Oh, they're going to turn them again. Never mind. I'm just going to let it play for a second. Go ahead and type in if you see what I'm talking about. Look at the pop on Vanya's glutes versus everybody else in this lineup. Do you see the difference? Type it in. Okay, so they're going to go off. And we're not going to go through their individuals. I just wanted to show the initial comparisons. Then we'll go and we'll show a little bit of the actual comparisons, and then we'll flip over to finals. We'll be here forever if we go through the whole thing. And literally everybody's suit in this lighting looks lighter than it actually was when we look at finals. Like these red suits look orange. They were not orange. They were red, right? So I don't think that Angelica stands out for her pop. She stands out because she's not as conditioned as everyone else from the back. So they're not really zooming in on this one. The one girl that I was a little bit surprised about that didn't do as well as I thought she should have was Natalia. And it could be that she's just very compact and she's got a lot of muscle. When I saw her at finals, this is Natalia right here. When I saw her at finals, I was like, maybe she's just got a little bit too much muscle. This is Alice. She's the one I mentioned had the softest conditioning on stage. And again, it's hard to tell that here in this particular video, but you'll see it once we get into the actual comparisons and you see where they end up. This Marie Ann, I mentioned her. It's Marie Ann, right? Am I saying her name right? I'm going to say I said her name wrong. Looked great. My only critique on her was she didn't smile big. That was my only critique on her. She really looked pretty phenomenal. But I want to show this, and then this is Tara, who took second right here. She has a great glute shot. From this particular angle, she looks like she's all glutes, but it's because we're looking up, going down, right? But it's when you see the finals angle and the finals look, you're going to see why she looks, she deserves second for sure. You're going to see why I had her closer to Vanya after the finals. I thought Natalia was going to place higher at the Olympia as well. Not sure what they're looking for from her. My only thought is when I was watching finals, she just looks, because she's short, she's very compact, and I think she just has a lot of muscle. I think that's the issue. I'm not really sure because I think she looks great, to be honest with you. I would like to hear what the judges think on her because I do think she's got a great look, and I think she's very pretty, but I think she might just be a little bit too muscular. Okay, so this was I just wanted to mention this too because Lucia changed her whole presentation at finals, completely changed her whole presentation at finals in a good way. So I want to give her some props for that because I was a little harsh on her presentation for prejudging, but when she came back for finals, it was 1,000 times better. So I just wanted to give her some props. She was touching her glutes, all that kind of stuff for prejudging, not good. She didn't do any of that at finals. So she did a very, 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 very good job in adjusting and pivoting for finals. Let's go. And then Marie Ann did the same thing too. She was smiling at finals, which was nice. I'm going to get to the comparisons. Give me a second. All right. Here we go. Okay. So this is your first call out right here. So I'm just going to let it play. I'm going to talk as it's playing. They're moving Lucia out. She was too conditioned, that kind of thing. We already knew that. So when we look at Vanya versus Tara here, the biggest thing, like I said, for me is that Vanya had the pop that Tara didn't have. Now, when we put them side by side here in that back shot, I think Tara's glute shape is actually better than Vanya's glute shape. But when you look at the pop of the glutes, the top of that glute right there, it's way better on Vanya. Look at her upper glute. Her upper inner part of her glute is just really, really good. So when we get to the finals film and I show that, you're going to see what I'm talking about with the difference in the lighting. However, I think that these placings were exactly right. I don't think they could have gone any better than they were. I mentioned on prejudging that I felt like Phoebe's suit bottoms were too big in the back. See how it's kind of cutting into her glutes, and it's actually making her glutes look smaller. And as a tall competitor, you want as much glutes as you can possibly get. It's really hard to look too glute dominant when you're 5'9". So she's got to find a good balance there with the suit too. She was a little bit flat, a little bit soft, that kind of thing too. Her body looked a little tired, that kind of thing. But I just wanted to point out the suit here. And what I mentioned with Tara is, she really posed very V'd onto the judges with her upper body, making her upper body look too big, in my opinion. However, I think she did that on purpose because of her waistline. Her waistline is something she's always gotten critiqued on before. And the way that she posed here made her waistline look 1,000 times better. So sometimes you have to pick the lesser of two evils. Her waistline was tight, which was good. But this pose actually made her waistline look tiny, which I've never looked at her before on stage and said her waistline looks tiny. To me, her waistline looked tiny here. So do we want to pose big and V'd? No, we don't want to pose big and V'd. However, in her particular situation, in her particular case, this was the right call for her, okay? I normally wouldn't say that for most people, but this was the correct call, right? But again, going back to, I just felt like in general, Vanya's shape and the way she posed, the way she presented herself was exactly where she needed to be. So Tatiana is not in this call out. So I'm not sure if you're mistaken Tatiana for somebody else, but she's not actually in this call out. I'm just looking at the comments right now. Tatiana was in the second call out. So yeah, we're going to wait a second and let them roll through this and bring out the second call out. And if you also notice, other than Phoebe, all of these competitors compete regularly or are from the US. Ellie's not from the US either, but that's where she competes. And all of these ladies, other than Naday, are from Europe. So just like we talked about with the preview, you know, and I'm looking at this lineup here. You know, when Natalia is standing next to these girls, she doesn't look too big, right? She doesn't look like she's got a lot of muscle. It's when she stands next to the girls from the US is where I think she looks like she probably has a little bit too much muscle, right? Because Tatiana is too conditioned. She actually doesn't have too much muscle, I don't think. She's just too conditioned. Octavia's got too much muscle. This Lisa on the end, she's got too much muscle. Again, they're just too conditioned. It's just they're a little bit too far past the criteria. They got to bring it down. Yeah, prejudging is where I thought Tara seemed like she was all glutes and no legs as well. I'm gonna flip it over to the finals so that you can see how different the angle makes her look. Right? She looks really from the finals video. She looks really well balanced. Right? She didn't. Again, this is why our video right now is straight on, down a little bit. That's not the judge's view. The judge's view is from down up. Right? So it makes a huge difference just in the angle. This is why we talk about progress photos needing to be done a certain way. Progress photos need to be done a certain way too, in order to be able to see what the judges are seeing. Because this that we're seeing right now is not what the judges saw. It's absolutely not. I agree. I was like, she tightened up or something. LOL, something was different. Yeah, it was the lighting and it was the camera angle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm just going to let this play through. They do another call out. They do confirmation around here too, but I'm not going to go through that. We're just going to go flip over to the finals. But yeah, all these suits that look a little orangish, when we get to the finals lighting, you're going to see they weren't. So it's like, it's completely different. Completely different. I still stand by what I said with Tatiana's look, though. I would have liked to see her in a bright blue suit versus that white colored. Octavia changed a lot from prejudging to finals. I'm wondering if she went and ate a bunch of crap, because at finals, she couldn't even hold her tummy in. You're gonna see it again at her finals look. Got to stay tight from prejudging to finals. She must have thought, well, I'm not placing, so who cares? But you're still getting on a stage in front of millions of people. Y'all better be keeping it tight. Keep it tight from prejudging to finals, right? Okay, let's go to, this is finals, okay? So they're starting right here with our bottom call out, and they're going to do a confirmation. See how much different this lighting is? Look at the lighting. Look at the camera angle. They look so much better, so much prettier. But this is your bottom call out. And again, when I look at this, I think maybe Natalia just has a little bit too much quad, a little bit too much shoulder. I mean, I think she looks phenomenal, but maybe that's what it is. She's just a little bit too much. She definitely needed to be better conditioned too from the back. But look at Octavia. She's lost her lines in her glutes. She's lost her lines in her stomach. She's got a little bit of roll in her stomach. And I think she just probably went and ate a bunch of crap. Her tan's a little off. I think she probably went and ate some stuff between prejudging and finals, to be perfectly honest with you, because she's usually very conditioned. But she's having a hard time even holding her tummy in right here. So she probably just, like I said, she probably just went and said screw it and went and ate a bunch of stuff. Let's see the red suit on Alice right here. I thought it was more orangish from prejudging. It's not. It's definitely red. So we were sold a bill of goods at prejudging. So for all of you that I said you shouldn't be wearing orange suits, I apologize, because you weren't. It was just the lighting. Okay, so here's the second half of the call outs here. Now you can really see here, and the thing with Tatiana too is not only is she too conditioned, but this suit color, like I said, just doesn't do anything for her. And then her tan is actually a little greenish too, right? Phoebe's tan's a little bit too light for her skin tone for this suit. She said, well, I'm not winning, let me eat. Yep, exactly right. Exactly what she said. You can really see here that the conditioning on Phoebe is a little bit soft. Let them go to the back here and turn it back around. Ellie looks great in this call out. I think Ellie of this call out is your best one, to be honest with you, when it comes to her overall look. Conditioning's not too hard, not too soft. Still don't like that pink suit. I'd like to see the suit a little bit deeper. And then we're gonna get your top call out here, your top 4. And I want you to see how different Tara looks in this call out, in this lighting, versus what she looked like at prejudging. Look at that. Like, the suit looks better. I still would want to see her in a darker suit because her tan's just not dark enough. Look at her from the back and look at Vanya from the back. So Vanya still has pop, but not like she did at prejudging, right? So I think it's the lighting. I don't think that she lost the pop. I think it's the difference in the lighting between the two shows. And then Tara absolutely does not look like she is glute dominant from the back here at finals, right? For some reason we're green. Let's see if we got a good. Let me pull up the quality. Let me put the quality up. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but my quality over here is a little bit rough because we're off on the quality. There we go. Let me pull it back a little. Oh, I went back too far. Hold on. Let me get back to where we were. I'm fucking it all up. Sorry, guys. I'm fucking it all up. There. Okay. We'll go ahead and let it roll because it's going to come. I'm screwing it all up. Let's go right here. Okay. There we go. All right. I'm going to leave it alone. We'll leave it alone. Yeah, I have a feeling that the whole thing with Vanya was lighting more than anything else. I don't think it was her softening up. I think it was lighting. I'm gonna let that first call out come back out again because I screwed up the feed. Sorry guys. I'm back to it. Let them come back out so we can talk about it again because they kind of whipped them through pretty quickly at finals. They don't really rejudge unless somebody comes back looking completely different. Okay, so here we go. So, again, I still think that Vanya wins this, but when they turn to the back, Tara does give her a run for her money for sure. And you can see here too, I think that Marie-Eve looks really good, and I think that Angelica just really needs to build density in her glutes. So I think everything played out exactly how it should have. Oh, is it? There we go. But after seeing this, I was like, oh, okay, Tara is not all glutes because I thought she was all glutes at prejudging, and she's definitely not. She's well balanced. So it's all camera angle. It's all camera angle and lighting. So that's where we're going to end the live stream look. Pull the chat overlay back up for you guys. So in general, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the placings were correct? Would you have placed people differently? Was there anything that you saw between prejudging and finals that made a difference for you? Go ahead and type it to the comments and ask questions too if you have any questions. I still stick by what I said with Tara's suit. I think that she needs to get a deeper colored suit, like a royal blue or something like that. I think would pop off her skin tone better, and her tan is still too light. I understand why she posed the way that she did, and I think that was the right call. I would have probably posed the same way. Even though they're saying they want to see more of that S curve versus the real V on her frame, it is what it is. She's got to make her waistline look smaller. So I think that she made a judgment call, and I think it was the correct one. Vanya's pop in her glutes, I think from prejudging to finals was likely the same. I think it was the lighting that was different. So in that regard, I'm almost happy with the lighting from prejudging being the way that it was, because it just really showed us why she was in that first place position, right? The only way to know if your tan is too light before going on stage is experience. That's the only way. It's the only way to know. Myself, there's been several times where I thought my tan was dark enough, and then I get on stage and I'm like see-through. So it's not until you hit those lights that you realize, oh, I should have put another coat on, you know? So I know now that being off stage, I need to look super dark in order for me to be dark enough on stage. Because my skin is just, you can see it just on this live stream. Like you can see my veins just sitting here. You can see my veins through my skin. I have really white, translucent skin. I have very thin skin. My Eastern European genetics right here at play, So I know I need to have 3 coats of tan on. When I have 2 coats, it looks really pretty off stage. And then I get on stage and I'm white as a ghost. So it just comes from experience more than anything else. And I think a lot of times what happens is a lot of people like to DIY tan, and it doesn't come out as dark. The hard part about going into like a foreign country and going to the UK or whatever is sometimes you don't have your typical tanners there. That's why when I did Hawaii and I did Japan, I did my own tan and I spray tanned myself because I knew that was the only way I was going to personally get dark enough. I didn't do as great with my tan in Hawaii because that wasn't actually the tan, it was the glaze. I should not have let them put glaze on me when I was there. That was my fault. So I didn't do that when I got to Japan. In Japan, my tan soaked in a whole lot better. I was a whole lot drier too because I wasn't in the humidity of Hawaii. And then I didn't have the issue with the glaze. I only patted the glaze on in the areas I should have patted it on versus rubbing it, which is what they did when I went to the tanning sponsors at Hawaii. So again, it's experience. It's just knowing what is going to work for you and what's not, right? So I don't think that Tara, second place, I don't think that her shoulders were dominant. Again, I think it was the way that she posed. It was more of that X-frame pose, which again, they're not trying to get a whole lot of that anymore. But again, going back to, that's what made her waistline look the best. So I think it was the right call, right? I think her pose was the right call because I've seen her pose more S-framed and it doesn't flatter her frame as best. That's why you have to have a good posing coach. And that's why you have to have somebody in your corner that can see what's going to look best on you, because just because it's the standard doesn't necessarily mean it's what's right for you, right? You got to know what the judges are looking for, and you got to know that at the end of the day, you got to showcase your frame the best, regardless of what the actual standards for the posing is. Everybody's got to be a little bit different based on their frame. So I think that Tara did a really good job with that. I think that was the right call. Everyone looked amazing. Was shocked how Fabi came out soft, so I see why she got 6th. Yeah, I was kind of hoping. So this is the hard part about being a tall competitor, because I understand this again from me going through this, right? It's a very fine line. It's a very, very fine line. If your body is tired, it's very hard to fill it back out. Phoebe's been kind of open about, her ups and downs through preps and off seasons, things like that. And when you're pushing your body really, really hard, it's hard to get it to respond the way that you want it to every time. I did listen to her podcast. I think she mentioned something about, she felt like she was, they were kind of flattening out going into the show, I think is what she said. So she was resting more and they were feeding her more. That is always, like, if you're starting to flatten out going into a show, a week out or whatever, that is an indicator that your body is tired, right? So I think she was probably at that point trying to just hold on. Again, this is all speculation based on what I saw, based on what I heard her say on her podcast and things like that. So I could be completely off base. So just take this with a grain of salt. But I feel like her body was just probably done. She's probably tired and she was just trying to hang on to it. I don't think she looked bad, but I think she looked better in Ohio. Her body looked a little fresher. She just needed to come in a little bit tighter and a little bit fuller in Ohio, and that would have been her best look. I think she tried to come in a little tighter here, but in the process, she kind of probably pushed it too far, to the point where her body was just like, no, we need a break, It's hard when you got 2 weeks between a show. She probably would have fared better if there was 1 week between the 2 shows, because she could have just rolled into the next week and just kept it steady. 2 weeks is a hard break. It's a hard break to do because you can't really do a whole lot. You just got to hold on. And for some people, just holding on is really hard. It's just not possible. You know what I mean? And again, going back to being tall, when you're tall, you get stringy really, really quick. You get stringy really, really quick. It's unfortunate because trust me, I understand. Like, again, I can go back to using myself as an example between Hawaii and Japan. When I went into Hawaii, I felt like my conditioning was right where it needed to be going into Hawaii, but then I got my period and I blew up, So we always talk about how I looked fuller and rounder, and actually my shape looked a little bit better when I was in Hawaii, but I was inflamed because of my period. And then when I went into Japan, I had my conditioning where it needed to be, but I'd lost some of that fullness and that roundness. So the goal for the next time that I get on stage is to marry those two looks together. So I still have the roundness that I had when I was in Hawaii, but I have the leanness and the conditioning that I had when I was in Japan. So again, that was a 1 week difference. That's all it was. It was 1 week, and my body went down over 6 pounds in a week. So it's a tough balancing act. People don't realize, that these girls that go on stage that are super consistent, it's a hard thing to be super consistent. It's very, very hard. It's very hard to be consistent. So kudos to those who can do it. I mean, we talk about Laura Lee all the time and how she's up and down. A part of that is because she's tall. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to manage. Until you're in the thick of it, it's really hard to manage, right? Any other questions you guys had? Anything else that you saw or anything else that you wanted to talk about with that? There is a wellness pro show this weekend. So I pulled that up real quick, just the pro show list. We're not really going to do a huge preview on it because we haven't seen a whole lot of wellness pros yet this year. We just saw the Arnold, that was it. But it's a decent looking list. So, just off the cuff, I would say, Bruna right here. Oh, I guess I can't highlight it, but Bruna would be one to be definitely paying attention to. She just took 4th at the Arnold, Ohio. I actually had her in 3rd. Anybody else you guys see here on this list that you should be paying attention to? I mean, Bruna's the one that pops out to me initially. And then next week is when the big shows start happening. Like we got Clash and stuff coming up and everything. It's off to the races starting next week. It's gonna be crazy starting next week. So initial thoughts are Bruna for the win. that's my 2 cents. We'll see what happens, but that's my 2 cents right there. Anything else you guys wanted to add? We are doing a Behind the Bikini tomorrow. So if you guys have questions for us tomorrow, make sure that you send those in. Let's go back. Well, I'm waiting to see if any other comments come in or any questions come in or anything like that. Again, free newsletter right here. That's the QR code. Just scan that, put your email address in there. That gets you on our list so that whenever we send out our newsletter, you get that. You get all the upcoming information, what we're doing, live feeds we're doing, podcasts we're doing, events that we're doing, all of those things. So there's that. If you need a suit for your season, we are doing free suit consultations. Feel free to reach out to me. I can get you set up. We'll walk you through everything that you need to get started on your suit and get a great suit that looks fantastic on you. There is a local show here in Virginia next week, so I'll be making a quick appearance there, the Warrior Classic. And then we have the Charlotte Cup is the next one on our list. So if you're going to Charlotte, let me know. Love to meet you. Going to be doing some coverage for that show too here on our YouTube and everything, just like you guys are here, just like we did for the Arnold, same thing. So we got several girls doing that show. We got girls making their pro debuts. We've got girls doing Masters pros. It'll be fun. Any other questions you guys have? Anything? Shoot them. Y'all are quiet tonight. Well, this was fun. I enjoyed being able to do the live stream with you guys this past weekend. That was a lot of fun. I hope that we can do more of those kinds of things in the future. I hope we have some more free live streams out there from these shows. That would be awesome, because then we get to sit and have our little coffee and have fun with it. So that would be fantastic. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. So hope you guys have had a fantastic week so far. We'll be back with our podcast tomorrow, so be looking out for that when that comes out. Comment, like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we go live. And our season is ramping up really fast. So pay attention. Oh yeah, and if you're doing Charlotte Cup and you need hair and makeup, I do have slots available, so there's that too. Other than that, I will see you guys back here for live feed next week as well. We're gonna do lives once a week. We're gonna do uploads at least once a week, like behind the bikini and others. That's it. That's all we got. So have a great night, you guys. We'll see you back here again.